Hey there, after a decade of entrepreneurship and clients in over 20 countries, I have realized that there are main differences between my customers who buy my e-courses and my coaching clients. Even if it's discussing the exact same topic, even if I'm helping them with the same results, there are some fundamental differences between the two that I have found. And I have found these differences to be true across ages, socioeconomic statuses, and even cultural differences. And so of course it can be different in every niche, but I did want to share it with you because I find that it's super helpful once you understand a little bit of that psychology, the dynamic of their lifestyles, that it makes it a little bit easier to write more distinct copy, to have tailored and specific sales conversations, and to guide your messaging and your brand when you're launching one type of program or another. So when I'm launching a coaching program, perhaps I can hone in on certain experience versus when I'm launching an e-course, I can focus on another type of it. And now both are the same, and of course people are still free to be individuals, okay? So this isn't a law, this is just simply my opinion, my experience, and I thought, you know what? Let me mastermind a little bit. This is what you would do in a mastermind. Someone would share with you what has worked for them, what hasn't worked for them, and how it can benefit you. And so this is what I wanted to share with you so that when you're writing your copy, you're a little bit more confident and you have insights that took me years to learn a lot quicker because you were able to sit here, take notes, and take all of this into consideration as you're creating your marketing materials, you're designing your campaign, and you're getting your awesomeness out into the world. So let's dive right in. Hi, I'm Ilean Harris, an entrepreneur and Cuban American. When I started as an entrepreneur, I had little resources, so I quickly learned how to work smart. I experienced lots of headaches and setbacks when I started, but today, everything is different. I've got clients in over 20 countries, I've traveled the world, and I want to show you how to do the same. In this community, you will gain amazing training and inspiration to build a business of your dreams and a great lifestyle to go with it. Whether you're an entrepreneur with lots of ambition and experience or you have just started your entrepreneurial journey, you've come to the right place. Remember, you can have it all. So first, let's talk about what people who buy e-courses and what people who have coaching packages in mind have in common. This is super important because I'm not trying to paint them to be completely different people. I have many people who start with my e-course and then continue with my coaching, or start with my coaching and then refresh with e-courses. So someone can certainly buy both, but when you're promoting it to someone and they're at a certain place in their life, you of course want to keep things in mind that are super salient and important to them so that you can help them. If they don't join your program, if you don't sell, you're not helping these people. And so it's not even about the sales. This truly is about connecting a solution to someone who has a problem. And so I find that that's what people have in common, right? Whether they have e-courses in mind or coaching in mind, they're definitely looking to get the best information, and not just all of it, but curated information. I used to have e-courses that were sort of like, I'm going to teach you everything, I'm going to include everything, and it's going to be the best thing ever. And it was almost like I had to over deliver because I just wasn't there with my confidence. I was still a little squeamish about what can I share or what's important or what's not. Whereas now I am saying to them, this is a result you need to get, and this is exactly the information you need to achieve that result. People don't want a storage unit full of everything. They want more of a museum with curated pieces that are going to help them achieve their goal. So you have to curate the information for them. So maybe some of you have put your heart and soul into your course and you've included so much it's actually overwhelmed your ideal customer because they're still not seeing how this program is going to help them achieve their results faster. So if you have a year-long coaching program, someone might think, oh my gosh, like that's really long, that's a huge commitment, versus if you have a program for 90 days where they have an opportunity to renew or to upgrade or to continue, right? It is different for every single niche, so don't stress it too much and you're saying, oh my god, I had a year-long program and she just ruined that idea for me. That's not the point I'm trying to convey here. I'm trying to remind you that the reason people forego sitting through days and days and days of endless research on YouTube, or they don't want to sit there and read 500 books, or they don't want to sit there and go to 85 seminars, and instead they'd rather go through one e-course, is because time is of the essence. Their energy might be depleted depending on what type of problem you solve. They may not have the energy for the DIY method. And so if your program or your course looks anything like what it looked like for them on their own, that might be a deterrent factor. No matter what your price is, no matter what your bonuses are, no matter what your brand is like, people are worried about how will this impact them. And so once you know that in advance, that's so much better, right? Because now you can plan ahead, you can prepare for it, you can overcome those objections, you can bring it up in a sales conversation, you can address it in your copy, you can, if you have a testimonial, you can do a case study and say, hey, this is such and such, and she's extremely busy, and these were her hesitations before joining, but now look at her results. Once you know in advance what people are anticipating or thinking about, it makes the process a little bit less like feeling like, oh, I just wasn't lucky, or I don't have enough followers. You don't have to sit there and guess and give a ton of excuses. You can instead do something about it and improve on the process. What I have found, though, that people who prefer my e-courses have in common is that they tend to be sometimes people who love to learn on their own. Like, they're just very independent, and I love that, right? You're essentially going through an independent study program, and so I love pointing out things where I tell them, this is something that if you follow along, this is where I will help you. I like, especially because some of my business trainings have a tech component to them. So maybe if they want to learn on their own, a great bonus that I love to include maybe is a template, a plug and play something. Whether it's a workbook, whether it is keynote slides if they're creating their first webinar, or it's a funnel. I provide a funnel template for so many of my clients, and that makes their life so much easier, you guys. That makes their life so much easier, and they know that they're going to be completing an independent study program as part of their e-course, right? So not only do they know they're not going to learn things for the sake of learning them, this is very action-oriented, it's very focused, but they're also saying to themselves, oh my gosh, I don't have to be at home scared and freaked out that I might fall through the cracks in this one area, or I'll be able to do all this on my own except for this one piece, because I'm thinking to myself, what would I have needed if I had to work on this all alone and I didn't have access to such and such. And so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind definitely as you are promoting your e-courses. Not to say that everything I just mentioned for e-courses isn't applicable to my coaching program or when I attract coaching clients, but I have found over the course of the years that my coaching clients are looking for a little bit extra. One, maybe they've done the independent study part and they're looking for a deep dive in their personal situation. They don't want to waste time jumping up and down in a group program trying to get attention, and maybe they don't have that problem in a group program, but they're saying to themselves, you know what, I actually want the privacy. I want to know that it's just me and my coach, and I'll have these recordings, and that they can really just let go, be themselves, be vulnerable, be authentic, be coachable, and know that they don't even have to get defensive when they're getting that feedback, because it's just the coach and them, right? So it's a very personalized experience. It's not a one-size-fits-all training. So that has been super important to my coaching clients. But you know, it's even more important to them, it's that they don't have to waste their time with cookie cutter training. And so typically somebody who is open to an independent study program but prefers the coaching is saying, no, I want you to look at my specific situation. I want you to look at my strengths and my weaknesses. They know that if we can pinpoint the issue faster based on, for instance, my expertise as a coach, then they can focus on the solution and start implementation faster. This isn't about your coach having a magic wand that fixes everything. This really isn't about just the work always being done for them or this and that. The idea is that they're not going to sit there having to self-diagnose. Think about it this way. You know, ever since this whole situation happened and we're all wearing masks and it's this global problem, right, that affected everyone. I don't even want to name it because it stresses me out, right? And I don't want to break into hives right now. But, you know, everybody started self-diagnosing. Like you got sniffles. It's like, oh, you got this and that. And how many of us haven't gone and Googled, right, symptoms and then self-diagnosed, and it wasn't that, and it wasn't this, and it wasn't that, where some people might just say, I'm just gonna go to the doctor, I'm just gonna go run a couple tests or have a couple tests run, and I'm gonna figure out what I have. That's who your coaching client is. Your coaching client doesn't want to be on Google anymore. They don't necessarily want to figure those things out on their own. They're the ones that are gonna wanna go to the doctor and have the doctor with his or her expertise, with the best tools and resources, with the best testing around, show them what's going on and what all the possible outcomes could be, what all the possible treatments can be. Like, here, take this medicine, or just wait it out, you know, and it'll go away by itself a lot longer, or here are all your treatments that are possible, etc. That's essentially what your coaching client is doing. So if you're thinking to yourself, your coaching client just wants the content, and you write your sales page and you write your emails, you create your ads just like you would for your e-course, and you're saying to yourself, well, this is the same thing except they have access to me and they're getting all this value, you're forgetting these key things that people are thinking about right then and there when they're considering coaching. And so this is super important for you to keep in mind, for you to truly win at launching multiple programs, of having multiple streams of income, and at having multiple offerings without burning out. And so let me know in the comments if you have any questions for me, or if in your experience you've noticed other differences between those who buy your e-courses and your coaching packages, and both. And until next time, remember that you can have it all. We'll talk soon.